Hi all, in this video we will discuss about stack and heap in Java. So what is mean by stack and heap? So these are the two areas of memory in the Java. So to understand to get more knowledge or to get a deeper understanding about the local variables or the instance variables or the objects memory management, we will learn about stack and heap. Like if you understand this stack and heap, you will have a clear understanding of how objects resides in Java and how long they live in the memory. When it gets destroyed, we will get to know all those concepts. Okay. Now, how much memory is allocated to Java? It is dependent on the JVM version. So, whenever you run JVM on your machine, it pulls memory or underlying OS allocates memory to the JVM, and how much memory it is allocated to the JVM, it depends on the JVM version. Okay. Yeah. Now, what we will do is we will understand what is the usage of stack and heap in the Java, but we will not study how the stack and heap are implemented. We will just understand the working of stack and heap, but not the implementation, because implementation might vary from one JVM to another JVM. We will just understand why these two areas of memory are used. Okay. Now, if you check the Java class, what happens? You have methods, okay, and then you have instance variables, right? So, what you have methods, you have instance variables, and then you have the local variables. Let me consider this. Here, if you look here, int size is an instance variable. And whereas the method parameters and the variables that are declared inside the method are called local variables. Even this method parameter is also a local variable. So basically a class comprises of instance variables, methods, and then the local variables or method variables or even the stack variables. So if you see the stack is mainly used for the method execution. Let's say you are invoking a method. If idea about the stack, it is compared with the pile of plates. Okay, if you see in the restaurant, you have a pile of plates, right? So first plate, and if that is like first in last out, whatever the plate you have put on the top, that is the last plate you have put it, but that is the first one to come out. So stack can be compared with the pile of plates, and this particular stack is used for the execution of the methods. Okay. Now let's say we all first method that gets executed, that is the starting point of execution. So if you look here, first when JVM detects the main of method, what it does is it pushes the main of method or it allocates some memory for the execution of main of method. Okay, and inside the main of method, if you are calling do stuff of method, then this do stuff of method stack frame is pushed on top of main method, and inside the do stuff of method, if you are calling the go of method, then go of method is pushed on the top of stack. Now let's see how it works. Okay, now let us consider somehow you think that this foo is getting invoked or this foo is getting invoked. Okay, but let's consider from main you are invoking this foo. So what happens is, in the a stack frame is allocated for each and every method. If you look here, this is the stack frame. So the method, it will have the memory for the method, and it will have the memory for the local variables as well. It will store the local variables as well. Now if you consider foo of, let's say what you'll do is, let's consider this foo of. Okay, now this foo of is a method. Okay, and inside this method, how many local variables you have? You have x is one of the local variable, I is one of the local variable, and b is one of the local variable. So if you see here, you have a stack, and the first method that gets executed is pushed to the bottom of the stack, and for each and every variable, like if you see x, I, and then this is the b, and for all the local variables a memory is allocated. Let's say from foo you are invoking bar. or let's say some, like if you consider this particular method, right? First do stuff of method, let us consider from main of method, do stuff of method gets executed. Okay, first what happens is do stuff of method is get pushed to the stack. Okay, do stuff of method gets pushed to the stack, and for what it will do is, first thing what it will do is, so it will execute line by line. Okay, and the memory that is required to execute this method is allocated here. Okay, this is allocated here. Now it executes first line. In the first line, what it is happening, it is taking a primitive variable boolean b and it is assigning value as true. So what it does, it has created one primitive variable of type boolean and the name of that is b and the value is true. Okay, now in this stack, the first or the bottom stack frame is assigned to the do stuff and it goes to the second step. In the second step, what is happening? It is invoking to the go method. Okay, now for the, what it does, it since go is another method, what it does is it creates another stack frame for go of method on top of do stuff of. If you see here, on top of do stuff of, another stack frame is created for go of method. Okay, now for go of method, what it does, okay, the method parameter is the int x, so it will create a variable for integer, for x integer, and this is of integer type, and we all know, right, integer is of 32 bits and it will allocate that much memory for this variable. Okay, then it goes to this particular step and it will create another variable z for which the value is x plus 24. It creates another variable z and x plus 24, whatever is the x plus 24, it will assign the value here. Okay, that is done. And after that, what is happening? It is going and invoking the crazy of method. Now on top of go of method, another stack frame is created for crazy of method. This is the first step and this is the second step and this is the third step. So on top of the go of, another method called, another stack frame called crazy of is created. Now let's see what's happening in the crazy. In the crazy, it is just it is just assigning a character value to the C variable, and this is a primitive variable, right? What it does is it will create memory, whatever is required for that particular type. Because for integer it varies, for char it varies, right? For char, how much ever memory is required, it creates that much memory in this stack frame. Okay, and then what it does is it will assign a to that. It will assign a to this. Now post that, what happens? Nothing is there. A close brace is a close brace is there, which means that method is completed. So nothing is there. What it does is it pops out this particular stack frame. Since this crazy of method execution is completed, it pops out this particular stack frame. Okay, and after this, what it's happening, it goes here. After going here, let's say if you have another thing called let me see, now here after crazy of nothing is there, right? So after crazy of you have closing brace. Even this go of method is also completed, it will pop out the go of as well. Okay, it will pop out this stack frame as well. And after go of, from go of, what happens, like it goes back to the do stuff of, and for do stuff as well, you have the closing brace after go of. Then even from the stack frame, this gets, like after go of gets popped out, even do stuff of also gets popped out. Now let us consider after go of, let's say you are calling another method called foo of 5. Now in this case, what happens is, let's see here, go of gets popped out, right? Go of gets popped out and you have do stuff of, like here what you have, this is the stack and you have this particular stack frame for the do stuff of, and after that, since go of got popped out, after go of, what is there in the do stuff of, foo of is there. Okay, now it will create a stack frame for the foo of method. It goes to the foo of method, and what happens, since this is the method parameter, it creates space for int x, and after that int I is assigned value x plus 3. It creates a holder for I, and it creates holder for B as well. B is the one we have, right? B as well. So it does this. So after the foo of execution is completed, then what happens? It goes back to the do of. So by going back, what happens is this gets popped out from the stack. Okay. Now after foo of nothing is there, the closing brace is encountered, then even this should be popped out. So if you see this, all the methods, like if you say that a method is in the stack, which if you say that a method is in the stack, then it means that that method is getting executed. Now if you see here, do stuff off is there, go off is there, and crazy off is there, which when you look at this particular stack, what you can say is, okay, do stuff off method execution is started but has not completed, and go off method execution has also started but it's not yet completed, and crazy off method execution is also started but has not yet completed, and like this execution has started but not completed, and whatever is present on the topmost, whatever is the method that is present on the top of the stack, that is the current method that is getting executed. Okay, if the method execution is completed, then it won't be it will no longer it will be present on the stack. So to recap, method execution happens on the stack using the stack, and whatever the method that's getting executed, like let's say when you invoke a particular method, what happens is a stack frame gets created for that method, and in that stack frame you will have you will create holders to hold the local variables like method parameters and the variables that are present inside the method. And if you are invoking another method from this method, then another stack frame gets created on top of that, and the stack frame gets popped out as soon as it encounters the closing brace. Now if you look here, what is happening is do stuff off is getting pushed to the stack as soon as you encounter a open brace, and do stuff off stack getting popped out as soon as you encounter a closing brace, right? Now if you look here in the previous example, what is happening, as you all know, main of method is the starting method of execution, right? Now first thing what happens is main of method gets pushed to the stack, and from main of you are invoking do stuff off, and from do stuff off you are invoking go off. As soon as go off method encounters the closing brace, it gets popped up, and then as soon as do stuff off execution is completed, it gets popped up, and then as soon as main of method execution gets completed, even this gets popped out. So if you consider here, methods live on the stack or the local variables live on the stack as long as the execution is started and not completed. As long as the method is getting executed, there should be a memory for this method and these local variables. If you did not invoke any, like if you did, like let's say you have written foo of method here, but no one is invoking this foo of method, then you will not have space for this method or space for these local variables. So local variables resides in the stack memory like while the method is getting executed. If the method is not currently getting executed, then there won't be any reference on the stack for the local variables. You understood it, right? Now in these examples, what we have seen is, what we have understood is, okay, you will have the stack, and whatever is present on the top of the stack, that is the current method that is getting executed, and it executes line by line, and you will have all the data in the stack. And for each method, whatever the memory that is allocated is called as a stack frames, and you will have the top of the stack and bottom of the stack. Top of the stack is the current one executed. And if you look here, all these are all the primitive variables. What if the local variables are reference variables? Okay. Now you know, right? Objects gets created on the heap, right? Objects gets created on the heap. Let's say, like object gets created on the heap, and you will have a reference variable, right? You will have a holder for a reference variable, and this reference variable has some remote control, and this will have access to this this will have access to the object. Let's say you have some reference variable inside the method. What happens is, now you have a placeholder for integer type, boolean type, right? Likewise, this method also will have a placeholder. Now if you see, this method also will have a placeholder for the reference variable. Okay, it will not have placeholder, or it will not store the object. It will just store a reference variable, and this reference variable Like let's say you have a method and you create an object. Okay, let me show that. Let me show. Yeah, if you see here, now this barf of method, if you see here this stack reference, let's say a person is executing foof of method. So first what you will have, foof of method stack frame is created on the stack, right? And from foof of, what they are doing is they are invoking the barf of. Okay, then a new stack frame gets created on top of barf, and inside the barf what you are doing, you are creating a new duck object. So this new duck of lies on the heap, and this duck d reference variable lies on in the stack frame. If you see here, duck object gets created on the heap because all objects, no matter where they get created and how they get created, let them get created in the methods or let them get created via instance variables or anything. Like now here these are getting created inside this method. Now let's say these might get created using this instance variables also, right? Like private duck d equal to new duck of, like it can be a instance variable as well. Now here this is a reference local variable, and this can be the instance variable as well. No matter where they are getting created, how they are getting created, all objects lies on the heap. Now here when this particular statement gets executed, duck of new duck of gets created on the heap, and this duck d reference variable is present in the stack frame. Now once this execution is completed, this particular stack frame gets popped out. When this gets popped out, this link is removed, right? This link is removed, and after this what happens? Foo encounters a closing brace. It encounters a closing brace, and even this gets popped out. Now after this, if you see, there is no reference to this object, and we all know garbage collector, what it does is the heap memory management is done by the garbage collector. Now like it based on the time interval or how it operates, what garbage collector does is it will check for all the objects that are present on the heap with no references. It will clean up those objects, it will destroy those objects and gives you the memory. Now when this method execution is completed, this reference is no longer present. Since this object is just present with no reference, after some time garbage collector cleans up or destroys this object and provides space for us. Okay, yeah. Now since till now what we have discussed how stack gets operated. Stack is mainly useful for the method invocation, and as part of that we also discussed about the local variables or the method variables or the stack variables. Now let's discuss, if you are creating an object, how much space gets allocated for that object. Okay, now you see, right, when you do new duck off or new cat off, there is some memory for the heap that gets allocated in the heap, but how memory gets executed? The memory that gets allocated in the heap is proportional to the instance variables. Okay, now let's say you have three instance variables, right? Three instance variables like private int I, and then private boolean b, and then private short s. So when you create an object on the heap, that object's memory is equal to the memory of these instance variables. For integer it has 32 bits, and for boolean whatever is the memory, so that much memory gets allocated for this object. And if you have a reference variable as an instance variable, what it does is, let's say you have this reference variable private duck d, something like that. So for reference variable also the memory here. Now if you see, if your cell phone object has two instance variables, one is of integer and another one is of long. So for integer how much memory it takes? 32 bits, and for long whatever the memory that will be allocated for this for these two variables, and you can say that this is the memory allocated on the heap for this object. Let's say a cell phone object has one reference variable like duck d, or you can say antenna t, antenna ant. Now here when you do this, like when it has reference variable, the object is not yet created, right? So what it does is it will just create a holder for the reference variable. So the memory of cell phone object is the memory that it takes to hold this reference variable. And after some time, let's say you do this ant equal to new antenna. Now what happens is a separate object gets created on the heap. This is the heap, and then this reference variable is linked to this. Okay. Now if you like what we have discussed about the object memory. So what is mean by the object memory? Object memory is equal to the memory that it takes to allocate for the instance variables. If the instance variables are the primitive variables, the memory gets allocated according to the type of this variable. If the instance variable is the reference variable, it will just hold the reference variable. This particular object will not hold this object at all, right? It will just hold the reference. Now, if you see, and if you are creating an object for that reference variable, then object gets created separately on the heap, and the same process that we have for the cell phone object, the same process will be there for the antenna as well. Now, once, let's say, now we have this antenna, right? Now, let's say in one of the method, let's say you are invoking some method, public void test, and then inside this ant equal to new antenna, you are doing it. Now what happens is initially when you create the cell phone object, you are just holding the reference variable. You did not create antenna object. After some time, this method gets executed. When the method invocation happens, this gets executed on the stack, right? All method invocations happens on the stack. So on the stack, a stack frame gets created for the stack of object, and what it is doing, it is creating a new object on the heap, and it is assigning this object to the antenna reference variable. This will happen. Okay. Like understanding the stack and heap definitely benefits us, because we will understand where the local variables, where the objects and where the instance variables live, and how long they live, and how executed. Sometimes, like most of the Java developers, you would have seen stack overflow error, right? That happens because even for the stack also some memory gets allocated, right? Some memory gets allocated. Now here what, let's say you do this test of. This is an infinite loop, right? Inside the test you are invoking the test, and then it goes to the test, it again invokes test. So when you start invoking the test of method, first is stack frame is allocated, and again on top of that another stack frame allocated, and this keeps continuing, like stack frames keeps getting allocated infinite number of times. And since stack has a different memory, after some time it will run into stack overflow error saying the stack has exceeded its limit. So that is the error you would have encountered lot many times when you did not write a proper code. Okay. Yeah. So we have discussed about the stack and heap in the Java. So these are the two areas of memory, right? And stack is used mainly for the method invocation, and stack consists of the stack frames, and each stack frame represents a method, single method execution. Whatever is present on the top of the stack is the current method executing, is the current method that is getting executed. And as soon as you encounter a open brace for a method, then this method gets pushed onto the stack, and as soon as you encounter the close brace, then that method stack frame is get popped out from the stack, and inside the stack frame you will have place for the, or you will have memory for the local variables or stack variables or the method parameters. And if your method or local variable is a reference variable, what happens is it will just hold the reference, but the object actually gets created on the heap. Yeah, coming to the object memory is nothing but it depends on the memory of the instance variables, like how much memory it takes to allocate these instance variables. Like if it is a primitive, directly you can get the size, and if it is a reference variable, if the object is not yet created, it will just have the reference variable. Okay. And for all the objects or the reference variables, if you just unlink the reference variable with the object, garbage takes care of cleaning up those objects. Hope you understood about this stack and heap concept in Java. Thank you.